Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel, Hebraica, Hebrew Honey, and we're still looking at Ruth 2, verses 8 through 10. 3 verses here. Hopefully keep it a little bit shorter this time. Previous time we had a lot to talk about, especially verse 7, which in Hebrew can have many different ways of reading it. So this time around things are far more straightforward and not nearly as complicated. The language here, this is the dialogue between Boaz and Ruth. And the language here is quite formal stylized type of language. Words as well. Some of the words are kind of uppity type words. These are this is the kind of language that would be used in a formal reception in front of a king or somebody important. So, and almost all of the passage focuses on the kind of care that Boaz wants to give to other people, and just barely getting to know Ruth here, but most certainly it has a heart of caring and making sure she is safe, she's provided for, she has enough to drink, and later on even share some of the food and so forth. So that's a little bit further than verse 10. But here we're going to see just the whole matter of where she can work, what she should be doing, and the kind of instructions that Boaz gives to his workers to make sure that she stays safe and has a good place to work and is well accepted, well received in that place. The word stranger or foreigner appears here, and in the dialogue at the end, I think verse 10, Ruth is asking why you're taking good care of me. And then into the next segment, verses 11 and onward, Boaz explains his motives in taking care of her. So get on to the study. Then Boaz said to Ruth, and it's just an immediate jump right from Boaz talking to the head of the workers to hear Boaz talking to Ruth. Maybe the house where she was resting was nearby and didn't take a whole lot of distance and time to get over there. And then Boaz said to Ruth, "Now listen, my daughter, have you not heard?" This is couched in a question in the Hebrew, and I think some of the English translations do it. Have you not heard? And it just simply means, now listen, now pay attention. But it's brought forward as a question. In other words, when you don't really want to pressure people or you just ask a question. So yes, that's a Jewish way to have a question, answer with a question. And so here, I want to begin a conversation. Just ask for, haven't you heard, my daughter, BT? Very same word, very same title that the mother-in-law that Naomi was using with Ruth, BT, my daughter. Do not glean, okay? Don't go over to another field. Aher. Aher right here, another field, is literally, you got this field right here where you're working, and any other field would be over here or behind. But it also means behind. So aher, don't go to a field that's distant, okay? Don't go a field that's away from my protection. Don't go, and aher is also used for a strange field, okay? So it's a field that we don't know about. We don't know what can happen there, okay? So don't go to another field, distance-wise, or whoever owns it there, or whatever can happen there. Just simply don't go to another field. We have no control over what happens in other fields. So do not glean in another field, or leave this one. Just stick here, okay? Stay in this field here. Keep close. Now, keep close is davech, dalet bet kof, the root, and stay glued to. Okay, we've seen this verb before in our studies. Probably at this point, many verses along the way wouldn't remember it, but this is where the same verb here that when Ruth has told Naomi, your people, my people, where you go, I go, where you stay, I will stay, your God, my God, and so forth. All of those things. When Ruth has finished expressing that, she stuck with Naomi, with her mother-in-law. Same verb, okay? So Ruth stuck close to Naomi, and now Boaz is telling Ruth to stick close to my young women, Nahorotai. In all of this story, Boaz is very careful to say, okay, he doesn't say stick close to the guys that are working here. In other words, hook up with the guys. No, stay close to the women. In other words, he's very much works to keep the propriety going here of having Ruth stick with the women that are working out there, or women apparently working out there as well. So stick close to the women, the young women. Same word as nara, narotai. This one's going to be a plural here with the tau ending. So holam tau, narotai. Let your eyes be on the field, okay? And this is a case where eyes forward, okay? Eyes, look at it very good, okay? It is very much a noun, a substantive noun, but it's a noun that's used as a, eyes forward. Take a look. Just pay attention, okay? Keep your eyes. It's like keep your eyes on the ball. Keep your eyes looking firmly, okay? Stay focused. That's kind of what he's saying here, okay? Let your eyes be on the field that they are reaping, halakat, and then walk behind them, halach. Okay? Just stay pace, stay close. They're working. You're working. You've become part of the group. Okay, you're under our protection. Stay with all those who are working here in the field. And then again, couched in a negative question here. Have I not charged the young men not to touch you? In other words, he has. Okay. Up here it says, now listen. Now haven't you heard? Now this one is again, like I said, it's very formalized type language here. And this is part of it. Have I not charged the young men not to touch you? In other words, I really have. I've told those guys behave themselves. Okay, naga, nege, nega. Sounds a little bit like English nagged, but it isn't really that. Nage, nage. Touch can be lightly, or it can be with a lot of pain. The one place I remember this one very much, this particular Hebrew root that's behind this word touch here, naga, nage, nun gimel aleph is the root, is when the angel at the seraphim, the seraph at the calling of Isaiah takes the burning coal from the altar, from the incense altar, flies over and touches Isaiah's lips. Whoa, ouch! Yeah, so getting touched can be painful. Okay? I've charged the young men not to touch you. In other words, not to bother you, not to hurt you. And then, when you're thirsty, and this is just simply a given out there. You're working in the hot sun, apparently, and for her too, entire day, just go. She might have brought her little flask of water along. But most people would do that in hot weather. But there are vessels, kali. Okay? So, in other words, the house that they're sitting in is a place where they would have pottery vessels. And what the young men here, the young Naharot, this would be Naharim, what the young men have drawn, lifted up from some well, nearby well, they bring up this water, they carry it over and pour it into these pottery vessels. Very, very common thing, very normal thing out in that place. Incidentally, the evaporation of the water through it would be unfired pottery, so as the water evaporates, it would cool the water inside very naturally. Still do that to this day. And in fact, in Yucatan, they'll do it even in the men of the field will do this as well. Keep their vessels cool by the evaporation of the water in them. So go to the vessels, drink, just take a drink from what the young men have drawn. In other words, help yourself. There's lots of water here. They've been pulling water up all the time with the water that they need, and just simply you can share with that water. Then she fell on her face. Now here, like I said, this is very much a formal style of language at this point. This is the kind of thing that in fact, if you go to 1 Kings 1, you're going to find Bathsheba falling on her face before King David asking for the life of Solomon. So the same thing, and it's this nofal. This fairly straightforward verb right here, nofal, to fall on your face, or fanecha. But bowing to the ground, and we'll get to it. Stick with me in the study. But this is some of the most complex Hebrew parsing that you're going to find in a verb. Okay, this is shaha and tisha. Here I think it's Tishtahatu, and so we'll get to it, okay? But bowing to the ground here, very formalized type language, very, yeah, everything on board very, very formal. And she said to him, that's her. Now it's up to here, it's been Boaz talking, now she's talking. These are dialogues now, so when you're looking at dialogues, you're going to find things that are somewhat in the present tense, right at that point in time. And then a question here, Madua, why? Have I found favor in your eyes that you should take notice of me, since I'm a foreigner? Okay, and these are they look a whole lot the same. Taking notice and being a foreigner, they are separate roots, but they do certainly sound the same. I haven't yet really determined what kind of connection would be between the root of this taking notice and being a foreigner, but they do sound a whole lot the same. So here it is, very beautiful passage, and Boaz very much is fulfilling the role of Gibor Hayil, a virtuous or righteous or worthy man, and the first thing he does is, hey, stick close to the women. He's concerned about the security of the people he's working with, and also telling them, he's telling the other young men, behave themselves. Okay, this is we have to take care of especially foreigners. And then here she is saying, okay, why are you doing this? Okay, and then stick around. You're going to okay, just sort of a bit of a cliffhanger here. Verse 11, 12, and so Boaz explains himself. So stick with the next study, okay? We're getting to this one. We'll find the answer. We'll find out the answer to this question, okay? So beautiful answer, by the way. So anyway, let's go to the study and let's take a look at some of the Hebrew words here. And have you not heard? Like I said, this is a question. The couch is a question, which makes it quite a bit of, like I said, a formal setting. Hello, Shamat, Biti. This is my daughter. We'll start with the easy one. My daughter. This is just my daughter with a suffix, the first person pronoun on the end here. My daughter, and same word as, like I said, that Naomi's been using with Ruth along the way. And this then is a has not. Okay, have not. Lo is of course negation, not, and then the hey with the hatef patah here turns it into a question. Has not, is it not? Okay, ha lo. Okay? Ha lo. We're going to get to a little more even more stylized negative words. Bilti, lebilti, in other words. But this is a sort of a very stylized way of saying it. He could have just said, hey, I'm telling you, but and some of the translations will do that. They'll go, oh, what does this mean? Have you not heard? And they'll go directly to, oh, Boaz just told her, and then they sort of cut to the chase. But I'd like to keep the stylized form of it here because it sort of really it does sort of make a formal setting. Okay, this is the real thing. Okay? Hello. Okay. Shama'at, has you not heard? That's just the second person feminine ending here to hear. Shama, of course, hear or listen. Haven't you heard? Okay, haven't you heard? You, second person suffix ending of the verb here. Have you not heard? My daughter. And then this was what she would know. Okay. And now here's an order. This is al telachi le likot lilkot al telachi lilkot. So do not take a walk. Don't go. Okay, don't go walking. And this is a negative imperative form of when you use negation of al, you're going to use the prefix form of telhi, okay? Telhi, okay? Telhi. Yeah, you're going to pronounce this because if this would have been a short vowel, this one wouldn't have been pronounced, but telhi, this is pronounced here. Telhi, don't go walking to lilakot in order to gather. So anytime you have a preposition element of purpose in front of a noun, it's going to be an infinitive. So this is what you have here. Don't go to gather. Okay. This verb in the readings or the study we're doing on Ruth, we've seen it before. In fact, exactly in the same form, although not with the same emphasis. We see it in Telachi, you walk, elach. You walk, I walk. You walk. We've seen this in the conversation that Ruth has had with Naomi, where you go, I go. And then this is what it is here. You don't, you go. Okay, so this is the very same thing here. Boaz is using the exact same word that has been found in the first chapter when Ruth is talking about you go, I go. This is you go right here. The second person prefix form of halach. The root word here is hey lamed kaf, and then this is the tau added to the front of it. This is the negation here. Don't go, and don't go gathering, and but it is the second person prefix form of it. So we've seen it in the first chapter, and we've seen it again here. Bishde in the field. Okay, aher. So this is in. Now notice, just noticing it now here. You got bet with a shva. This makes it indefinite. Okay, a definite one would have had a patah here, but this guy's shva. So in a field, aher, in a field, another one. Okay, a different one, and this can be understood on numerous levels. Okay, aher, it just as the translation here, another. Okay, another field that is towards the back. A back field. Okay, aher actually literally means towards our back. Aher, towards the back. And so in this case, this would be aher, another field, a field that's towards the back. Okay, distance-wise, but also if you think of the word Elohim Acharim, that means other gods. Those are false gods. In other words, there's other fields out there which are not going to be nearly as protective of you. So don't go to a strange field. Okay, don't go to a far field. Don't go to a field where you won't have protection. Okay, so beshte haher. Okay, a false, and then instead of like Elohim Acharim, false fields. Okay, this is a field that could bring you trouble. Okay. Don't go to a false field. Okay, aher, behind. Lo, okay, lo te ta'aburi mize. Okay. Now we've seen okay. Here's a prohibitive al, and here's the same prohibitive lo. These are both no. Okay, don't and no. This is don't go, and this one's don't cross or don't cross over. Okay, avar is to cross something. Don't cross away from this one, mise, from this field. Okay? So this incidentally, the ancestry of this field here, mise, is the field right here. This helps us to pick up what was somewhat of a floating ze in verse 7, where ze, she's been here or this, this or her or this. Okay, apparently they were talking then about this particular field, so this place. So lo ta'avri, this incidentally is the very same verbal construction that we have up here. Telechi and ta'avri. Okay? Tau hirikyod, tau hirikyod. Difference in the root here is lamed kafa here, and this one's aleph bet resh. So don't cross over, don't cross away from this field. Avar, the way I remember this verb is Elisha is walking across the Jezreel Valley. Avar, avar, crossing the valley to where the Shunammite lives. So, and a very interesting passage here. Stay close to my young women. And this is Tidbakin, im naharotai. Yeah, here's the transliteration of what we're seeing here. This is Tidbakin, this is stay close, stay glued. We've also seen this particular verb used in our reading up to this point. Probably don't remember at this point, but looking back to the first chapter, we find out that Debek, we saw it there as a singular, feminine singular, when Ruth stuck with Naomi. Okay? Debek, same thing. And it goes back to all the way to Genesis 2 with Adam staying glued to his wife, Debek. Okay, Debek, staying close. Okay, Debekim. We're going to see here, and this is the first time where you go through it. The Blue Letter Bible calls this noon and this noon here pedagogic noons. And you say, oh, we don't really know what it means. What it really does mean, and I know it from the word like harmachadon, okay, the noon has an emphatic, the last noon right here, this one here as well, especially after a surik, has an emphatic emphasis. Okay? It's an emphatic noon. It bumps it up, gives us some power. Okay, so stick close, really close. Okay, to be keen, and yikashrun, and they are harvesting. They're really harvesting. They're working hard. Okay, so yikashrun. Here we go. So look at it when you see a noon and you really don't have a hard time. The word in and of itself here would in other words, if we go back. We've already seen this construction of prefix and then Yod. We've seen this one before, twice in the previous verse. And then all of a sudden, we got an extra noon. You go, oh, brother, where'd that come from? It intensifies what's been happening here, okay? Tiba keen, make it keen, okay? Tiba keen. So this is intensive noon here. Tiba keen im, naharotai. Na'ar is young man. Nara is a young woman. Narot is young women, okay, young women, and narotai with the yod on the end, my young women. So you got all of this agglutination going on here. The holum makes it a feminine plural, and the holum tau makes a feminine plural, and then the yod at the end is possessive pronoun. It's my young women. He has some young women working out there as well, so stick close to those women. Your eyes on the field, eneche, your eyes, and here, this is a case where noun, plural noun here, is used with a keep your eye on it. Okay, look at it very clearly. It's a noun being used as a verb. It does happen in Hebrew, not a whole lot, but it does happen enough. So that when you see it, okay, when you see it, when you can eye it, okay. In other words, the word eye does, and even in English, you can use the word eye. When you eye something, the word can work as a verb as well. Well, this is we do have a noun here working as a verb. So, anech, anayech, okay, yod, hirik here, anayech. Beshde, in the field. Okay. The previous word of this one's bishde. This one's bachshade. This is in the field. Okay. This is the field that they're referring to. It's the real field that they're looking at. Okay. Keep your eyes on this field. Asher, yik kishrun, the ones who are harvesting. We've seen this word here, koshor, as a noun quite a few times already, in fact, in plural. Kotzrim, 4 or 5 times already. And here all of a sudden we're seeing it as a verb. Okay, Yekitzrun, and they are harvesting. Third person, plural, okay, masculine here because of the yod, and plural because of the surik, and the nun on the end here, like I said, emphatic, okay, bumps it up, gives a strength of, they're really working hard on harvesting, okay. Asher Yekitzrun, liberty, nagay, have I not? Oh no, I've told. This is not one of those hortatory style negative questions. This one is an affirmation. I have told them not. Okay, and it takes a little bit of effort, but it works. And this form is quite common. So it isn't just once off. It doesn't happen all the time. But like I said, it happens much in quite a little bit more informal settings. So liberty, I think in the book of Ruth, there's about 3 or 4 places it's used, but it's used here. Okay, liberty to not, nage to touch. Okay, and this word here is used when the seraph touches Isaiah's mouth with a burning coal. In other words, touch is not just simply touch lightly; it can also be touched roughly. So, not to bother you, not to harass you. Okay, not to cause you trouble, not to not to touch you. And then she fell on her face. Yapol, tipol. This is feminine prefixing here of this particular verb here. Tipol, and she fell. Alfanecha, on her face. This is actually happens to be a plural. Face almost is always. This is always forms as a plural, and we can think of face actually as the two nostrils, the two openings of the nostrils, or the two openings of her nostrils. They fell, and so tefola, she fell on her face, and then she bowed to the ground. Okay, va tishtahu aratsa. Okay, aratsa. So I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to explain it the way the grammars and stuff will do, which I just have to warn you a little bit. It's going to get a little complex, but here we go. This is known as Hishtaphel. Okay, Hishtaphel. Hishtaphel is causative. Let's see, causative, reflexive. And a bit of an intensive as well. And Hishtaphel. They do the tishfel on the root of pile. Okay, pal, pei, aleph, lamed. That's how they describe these roots. But anyway, here's tishtahu. What the root that they consider working here is this shin, a hey, and then a shin, a chet, and a hey that is suffered then here. Apocope. Okay, so it's gone, so disappeared. So we get shin, chet, hey, okay? Shaha. That's the root that's supposed to be functioning here. This root here, if it would be masculine, it would be hishtahu, so it would be hey, shin, tau, chet, hu. Okay, but this is feminine, so this is she. Okay, this tau right here is showing the feminine form of the verb here, and then so it's tish tahu. She has bowed. Okay, shaha is to bow down, bow way down. Okay, bow to the ground. This verb here is used. So what's happened in the prefixing of the prefix that's supposed to be on here? The first one stays as a prefix, and it's a 2-letter prefix. Okay, no, in masculine it'd be hey tau, in feminine it's tau tau. The second tau of the prefix has gone into the middle of the verb right here, and this is known as metastasis, just like cancer. Think of it as cancer. Okay, metastasis. Okay, metastasis. That's what's used to describe this. Okay, Hishtahu, and has fallen on her face to the earth. Okay, and she has fallen on her face to the earth. Okay, that's as complex as it gets with Hebrew or morphology or parsing of Hebrew verbs. Hishtaphel. Just kind of scratch that whole, and if sit back and just think about it for a little bit. Would the original writers go through that kind of complicated hoop jumping and analysis and all that stuff? The answer, quite frankly, is no. And let's just get upfront about what's going on here. If you just took the whole Hishtaphel thing, threw it off to one side, and said let's just run this thing as a simple prefixed verb, okay? And instead of the root being shin, chet, hey, just make the root shin, tau, chet. Okay? Shin, tau, chet. If I was doing the dictionary, that's what I'd do. The root right here is shin, tau, chet. That's it. The tau here is the feminine prefixing, okay? And then this then she bowed. Okay, so keep it simple. And this is probably what it was originally, just as simple as I'll get out. That this is just the root right here, and this is simply the feminine prefixing on it. That's it. Okay. Incidentally, when you're using the whole business of losing the hey quite often picks itself up as a directional hey at the end of the next word. Okay, there it went. Okay, in other words, this is directional hey over here, but you can also think of as it kind of flew off the end of this verb and ran over to here. Okay, so yeah, incidentally, yeah, that's another layer of complication I really shouldn't mention to you. But anyway, there it goes. So this when you see it this way, okay, Hishtaphel, aretsa, then and then she bowed herself to the ground, okay, towards the ground, and then directional hey at the end right here. So it's very simple. Just keep it simple, and I'm pretty sure the original writers wanted it that way. Now there is certainly another root, shin chet hey, and that functions by itself as well. Not just use that as a separate root. In other words, keep it separate roots and keep it functioning separately. And this one functions this way, and the other one will function in its own way as well. But to me, they aren't really the same roots because they are how you say it, same meanings. So there is a temptation to stick them together. But this one works this way, and the other one works with shin chet hey, and so you'll see that one. I think this one actually appears far more than the other one. So this is formal settings, persons bowing themselves to the ground, and very much in ceremonies. Madua mashati hen. Why have I found favor? Okay, why have I found favor? Madua. This is again a question. And if you haven't noticed it, third, fourth time out, questioning is going back and forth. In other words, this is a sense of, hey, where are things going? Okay. First of all, Boaz begins with a question, then begins another question, and here she is also returning with a question. Okay, Madua, Mashati, why have I found favor? Hen, favors. This one's a very well-known noun here. Favor, very much parallel with chesed. Chesed and hen are always kind of found together, and this one's hen, favor. This is the root also for Hannah. Okay, Hannah is one of the famous women of the Bible, and Hannah would be the feminine form of it. This is just the normal form of Hen. Le ha-kirini ve'anochi nikriya. Why have you noticed me? Okay, so you have a lamed, which is a lamed of purpose, and then whenever you have a lamed in front of a verb like this, you are noticing to notice. Okay, in order for you to notice me. Okay, to notice me, ani. Okay, and anochi. This is again, like I said, it's very much a formal setting. Anochi is the longer form of I, so this is a short form would be ani. This is anochi. Nikriya. I am a foreigner. Okay? I am a foreigner. Anochi nikriya. Okay? I am a foreigner. Why would you take notice of me? And here we do have the reading. Now verse 8 here. Vayomer Boaz al Ruth halo shamaat biti al tilki lilikot beshade acher vegam lo ta avrui mize veko tidibekin im nachorotai. And Boaz said to Ruth, okay, here's Ruth again, and jumps right into the conversation. There's no description of him walking over to the house or anything like that. Boom, directly into the next phase of the story. Hello, this is have I not, has it not, or is it not? Okay, hello, so this is not, and this is an interrogative particle in front of that. No, is it not? Shamata, you have heard, second person feminine, you are hearing, you've heard. BT, my daughter, same thing that Naomi was calling her. So al tilachi, don't take a hike, don't go walking. And this has been found in the first chapter when Ruth says, Tilaki elach, okay, where you go, I walk, and then don't you walk. So here's a prohibition, okay, don't go walking, don't take a walk. Lilakit lilakot, in order to harvest, to gather, okay. When you see this particular verb, just take a good look at the kof in the middle here and think of it as boom, pulling things together with a rope tying it all together. Okay, that kof makes this thing work right here. Boom, this verb is working with this kof here. Telakot, okay? Don't go to gather. Glean. I guess English uses glean or gather. Gather is asaf and glean is lakot. Beshte is an indefinite article here, so in a field, in some field, or any field, aher, behind, different, strange, far away, other, okay, a field that might cause you trouble. We can have security on this field here, mzeh, this field, but we can't have security on that field. So, bishde, aher, begam, and also, lo, and also not. This is also al, this is prohibitive. This one's also low use. This is prohibitive. Ta, aburui, don't cross over. Okay, tauburi. We have, tau. And we will have the same structure here with another verb, but tauburi, don't cross over to the other field here. Mize, from here. Okay, mize. Antecedent of this mize here is the field here, and it also picks up, you can tie it up to the ze that's in the previous verse, and so it does help you define that ze a little bit better as to what that was. It's the field in which they are working, okay? Bishte, mize, beko, and so, and thus, okay? And so, ko. Every time I see this word, it means you got to be doing something, okay? Ko. Tid, became, okay, and it says it's a good thing that these two verbs happen to be stacked right here. You got tau, hirikyod, okay. So this is to cross away or cross over, and this one's to glue yourself on, okay. Debek found that in the first chapter as well, with Ruth gluing herself to Naomi. So same verb. Tiberiu, and don't cross away, and thus glue yourself. Okay, debek, debekin, and so this is all very much parallel formation with the differences in the roots. Of course, here's I and bet resh, a little bit of a surik here for reflexive sense of it, and then debekech. This is dalet bet kaf, to glue, and hirik yod. And then here on the end you have an intensive nun, okay, a nun that intensifies things. I think there's other ones coming up pretty soon. Im, together with naharotai. Okay? This is the same im we find on Immanuel, okay, with God with us, with my young women. And nahar is youth, nara is it's a young woman, naharot, young women, and then young women that belong to me. Okay, narotai. Enecha, your eyes forward. Okay, enecha. Bashade, in the field. Asher yekurtzrun. Okay, this one's again third person plural form here with the surik and then an intensive nun on the end of it. Okay, yekurtzrun. They are gathering, they're harvesting, okay, intensively harvesting with the intensive emphatic nun on the end of it, the whole thing, okay. Asher yiksrun ve halakat, and go take a hike, go walk. Halak here is the full root of halak, to walk. Hey, lamet kaf, and then second person feminine suffix ending of the verb here, and then go take a walk. Acharechen, after them. This at this point it's not really an intensive nun anymore. It's just simply the feminine ending after them, the female them. Okay? This one's very precise here, male or female. This is a female. Go walking after those women, okay? Acharhem, after them. Aher, here, we've seen it previously on another field. This one's just after them, okay? This is after the women that are in this field. Halo, and this is have I not, has it not? So it's, again, a sort of rhetorical question, okay? Have I not? Shiviti, have I not ordered? Which means I really have ordered, okay? Have I not ordered? Shiviti, this is a first person singular to command or order something, okay? Shiva is to or a commandment, okay? So, hello, Shiviti, have I not ordered? Et Naharim, okay? Have I not ordered the young men, okay? We've seen Naharot. Now this is young men, Naharim. This is the masculine form of that particular root here, okay? Et Naharot. Direct object marker here of the et, of course. So here we've got Hanarim. Libilti, to not, okay? Nagea, to not touch, hit, and same word is used for Isaiah when his lips are get burned here. I've told them not to touch you, okay? In other words, not to bother you, you know, and so this is no harassing, okay? Nage, I've taught them to touch you, and I have, yeah, I've given orders not to touch you. Levilti, not so. Shama, and when you're thirsty, okay? Shamit, thirsty. Shamit, second person, you're thirsty. Halaki, okay? Same, incidentally, exactly the same verb as over here, okay? Vahalakit, behalakit, okay? Behalakit. So go walking after them, go walking to the vessels, okay? Go walking to the halakit, go over to those water vessels, the jars, pottery jars full of water. Shatit, and take a drink, okay? Thirsty, drink. These are somewhat, this is Sadik, this one's a Shin, somewhat related through the Tau, but Shatit, okay, take a drink. Me'asher, from which Yishabun, which they have lifted up, okay, Yishabun. Again, an intensive noon. You got Yishkarun and you got Yishabun, okay, they have lifted up. Same intensive noon over here as you have over there. Yeah, these are related in terms of intensive nouns. The Blue Arab, I will call them paragogic, and you're kind of wondering what that means. Well, it just simply bumps up the intensity or the what they're doing. Yishabun hanahrim, okay, the young men. Again, same word as here. Hanahrim, the young men. The young men have lifted up this water. It's in the jars. Help yourself to that water. Vatifol fanecha, and she fell on her face. Tish tahu. Yeah. We'll get into this a little bit. I've already done quite a bit of an explanation on it, so maybe I'm not going to repeat all that, but we'll get to it, okay? And then she bowed down, okay? Aretsa, towards the earth, directionally on the end of Aretz here. Incidentally, the normal vowels for Aretz is Eretz, it's a double sigol, but here two things have happened to bump this thing up to the comets. One is the Adna has come in here, giving this a positive form, and the other one is that it has a suffix on the end of Eretz, okay? So both of those would be good enough to drive this up into comets. So Aretsa, towards the earth. Vatomer, and she said, Elach, Madua, why? This is, again, questioning, okay? Lots of questions, going back and forth. Questioning is going back and forth, trying to define what's happening here. Okay, Madua, Matsiti, why am I finding Chen, favor, Benecha, in your eyes, Lehakirini, for to you notice of me. Okay, this is a llama of purpose preposition in front of a noun. When you see it this way, it's always going to be functioning as a infinitive, so you will be noticing to me, okay? Lehekrini, to take a notice of me. Ve'anuhi, and I, the longer form of, short form is ani, this is on long form, anohi. Again, not always, but here, the longer form would be a little bit more appropriate in a formal setting. So we're looking at anohi, okay? Takes you a little bit longer to say it, a little bit more formal style language then, okay? Anohi, nakriya, okay? Nakriya. Nakir is to be a foreigner, and this is sort of what they call a gentilic, or an ending of defining what you are. So we've seen this ending a whole lot already as Moabiyah, okay, Moabiyah, Mohia, and all of a sudden here Ruth is using as Nakriya, okay, a foreigner, okay. You go from Moabite to foreigner, basically the same thing in everybody's eyes, but here it is, Nakriya, okay, who is that way, okay, who is a foreigner that way, okay. So Tifal is to fall. Nifal, this is to fall in your face. Hafanecha, plural, but uses in singular sense. And Hishtaphel, okay? So, and I'm just going to say right up front, the way I regard this verb is, its root is shin, tau, chet. Just to sort of ignore, I'm just going to say, totally ignore what Blue Letter Bob was trying to tell you here, or the analytic books are trying to tell you here. It's just way too complicated, and it's going to be a hard time remembering it. It took me years to sort of sort that thing out, but now just drill it down to something a whole lot more simple. Take this one as a root, shatai, that's to fall down on your face, and it's used quite often, so it's a good word to learn. And as you go looking at it, you'll find it almost always in formal settings. It's always somebody who's petitioning something from somebody else, often a subject towards a king. So, and here this is a young girl, foreign young girl, bowing herself straight to the ground and showing her loyalty, or her place in life here in front of Boaz. So, Yishtahu. Okay, this is very much a formal setting type verb here. Okay? This is what happens in ceremonies. So, and we see it to this day, even in the Middle East, quite often in very traditional societies. This is what's the sort of thing that happens. So, a beautiful setting here. I think the thing that we can take away from this particular portion is Boaz most certainly shows his role as a Gibor Hayil, that is a virtuous, worthy man, taking care of whoever comes before him, whoever is working with him, very concerned as to their personal safety, very concerned as to they have water, things to eat, very much concerned for all of that, and has his eyes open to make sure that actually whoever he comes in contact with will receive his protection. So very much a beautiful story telling us that here Ruth is coming under the protection of Boaz. And Boaz, in a certain sense, is representing Jehovah, and as the protection that Boaz is giving to whoever he's meeting is the kind of protection that Jehovah is giving also to whoever his people meet. So, beautiful story. We come under the wings of Jehovah when we come under the wings of his servants. So, may God bless, may God strengthen you in this day. Until the next time.